Love After Lockup is back! Yay! Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to the season premiere of Love After Lockup. This is season 2, episode 1, The Virgin and the Trick. Girl, this is what reality TV should be. I am so excited. This coat is from the Cardi B Fashion Nova collection, girl, and I'm living it. This lip, Ruby Woo by MAC. Now that we got that all the way, let's jump into this episode, girl. I am so excited. I got me some Martinelli's I got me some Martinelli apple cider, non-alcoholic, and pineapple juice, and we are going to live our lives because this show is what reality TV should be. Cheers. We made it. Finally. Oh, girl's good. For those of you that don't know, Love After Lockup comes on Friday nights at 8 p.m. on WeTV. I'm gonna ask you guys right now to go on ahead and subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and follow me on Instagram because I will be tagging things Love After Lockup because I will be talking about this show because I love it so much. We are on a roll today and we are filming Love After Lockup recap. Girl, this episode was so great. So if you want to watch my recap, I'm gonna need you to go on ahead and follow me on YouTube. Just call me Wah. Love After Lockup recaps. So excited. So some of the things that I am already in love with Love After Lockup. That was hard to say. The fact that the episodes are only an hour long, like it doesn't take up my entire life to watch it. And I just love that they gave us 3 couples, and those 3 couples they went into depth with, and so we really felt like we got a good sense of who they were, especially my boy Clint. Let's start with Clint. Something wrong with him, and in such a good way. Okay, so Clint is a 37-year-old guy and Tracy is a 38-year-old inmate. She is in prison. I think it started off with some kind of check fraud. He is not really sure because he doesn't care. They have been dating each other for 6 months. They've never met in person. They've only pen-palled through the snail mail and maybe some phone calls. And the moment she gets out of prison, they are getting married. And when I say the moment, I mean the very next day. So Tracy is in jail now because she violated her parole, which I think was originally for the fraud, the checks. And she was giving out drugs. I don't know girl, what she was doing. She violated her parole and she got put into prison for 5 years. And they have been talking for 6 months. And Clint thinks that it is love. He can't wait to start his life with her. She is the one. She understands him more than anything. He thinks that he's a catch. He's an only child because his parents stopped at perfection. He's my favorite. Also, like, he ends up going and meeting with his ex-wife / boss to ask for more time off because he needed to pick up his fiance from prison and then get married to her the next day. And his boss is like, all right, do you know anything about her? Like, anything? Okay, great. He basically says that he married his ex-wife, which, P.S., that's his first ex-wife. There is a second ex-wife, and Tracy's gonna be his third ex-wife, let's face it, you know. I can't imagine the woman who's sitting across from him, his boss, the person who seems like a responsible, put together, well-adjusted individual, ever marrying him. Like, he's such a giddy kid. It's so weird. I was like, is he on drugs? Like, he's so weird. But like, no, she married him and it was because they were young and they didn't know any better. And I'm like, girl, why him? When was he ever cool? Or were you just so not cool? Like, what happened? Oh, yes, I see now. This completely explains it. Great. Y'all don't seem evenly yoked at all. So anyways, she wishes the best for him, but she thinks this whole situation is very peculiar and very weird. And like, obviously, he's her ex-husband, so there might still be some kind of like, hey, you're a person that I used to love, so like, be careful. And he's like, nope, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry. And she's like, but you haven't thought this through. You haven't made any plans. You don't have any goals. And he's like, no, we have goals. We just don't have as many goals as we probably should have. But we've got a goal. One, and that goal is to get married. And then after that, everything will be perfect because she's my soulmate. And homegirl's like, how? Okay. I hope everything works out then. So the next thing we have with Clint is he goes to his parents', I guess, deli. They own like a meat shop or like a sandwich spot. And his mom is like optimistic. She really would wish that they would live together for a while before deciding to get married. But she seems like a really, really nice, enabling mom. I now know why Clint is the way he is, because that mom, I mean, it's so interesting because she thinks what he's doing is wrong, but she's still supporting him in it for some reason. And then when Clint goes into the back to talk to his dad, the back of the deli to talk to his dad is like, I said, what now? You're doing, huh? And the mom's like, now, George, we have to be supportive. I don't know if his name is George. It might be Kendall. Am I making that up? Now, Kendall, we have to be supportive. Sure, this is a crazy thing that Clint is doing, and it's definitely gonna be disastrous, but I just want to support our baby boy. And Kendall's like, It's so weird. And even when he's talking to his dad, it seems like he's kind of scared of his dad a little bit. They don't have that father-son relationship. For him to be 38 years old and his parents still married, his body language with his dad was really peculiar. And I just think it's because his dad knows that he's an idiot and he's always been an idiot, and they probably have just never been close. He's just not the son he thought he was gonna have, and he done given up on Clint a long ass time ago. Wherever they are in Hobbs, New Mexico, his dad done gave up on him a long time ago. His parents own a deli. They have a whole ass business. And he works with his ex-wife at a hotel. Clint has done a lot of things wrong in his life for his father to not even have him in the family business, right? So let's go ahead and keep an eye on Clint. Clint also says that he doesn't care what she's done. She could be a serial murderer and he would still stand by her side. And I'm just like, boy, Clint got some low self-esteem, boy. He's sad and lonely. I love how they say fixin' too. I'm like, they say fixin' in New Mexico? That's kind of cute. I don't know. I think of New Mexico as, actually I don't think anything of New Mexico. I'm gonna be 100%. I do not know a New Mexican. And I don't know like what, I don't know. I can't even envision what New Mexico looks like. Is it like Arizona minor? Like, is it like Arizona, but not? Maybe I should go to New Mexico. I wonder what Albuquerque is like. I was at some point in my life thinking of doing like a spoof on the Real Housewives, but making it the Real Housewives of Albuquerque. But I don't really know what Albuquerque is like. So I can't really do like a Real Housewives of Albuquerque. But that would have been funny. Maybe I should visit there. What is in New Mexico, girl? If you're from New Mexico, please let me know. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Tracy and... Oh no, that was just them. Tracy and Clint is what I just did. Ooh, girl, let's talk about Matt and Caitlyn, child. Okay, so we first come off with Caitlyn, who is just like skinny mini, who is getting ready. She's moving out of her mother's house because her mother is not okay with her being with an inmate. Caitlyn is 32 years old and Matt is 28 years old. And she met him one day when she was bored on Craigslist perusing, and she found an ad and it was from him and he just wanted a pen pal. And they've known each other for 5 months and they are madly in love. And Caitlyn feels like Matt is her person. So she's giving it all. She's like, if I don't try this, if I don't do something, I'm gonna regret, and I'm gonna say, what if I did not throw my life away on a convict? What if? So she's gonna give it a shot, you know? Her best Judy is in her room with her, helping her pack / get changed. For some reason, she's just like changing outfits. And at some point she puts on this like green and like black situation with like front pockets. It's like a dress. And then she's like, I don't even know if this is cute. And her friend's like, oh no, it's cute. And I was like, oh no, it's not, girl. You need to let that friend go because she is having you out here looking all kinds of crazy. So they're basically talking about how she hates to move, but she has to because her mom does not condone this and doesn't want Matt to stay in the house. And she's just like, I don't understand. My mom has put me through a lot. She's a drug addict or a former drug addict, and she was never stable and all this jazz, and she doesn't want Matt here, and that's not fair. Blankety blankety, blah, blah, blah. And her friend is trying to talk some sense into her and be supportive at the same time. At some point they go sit outside and they're smoking a cigarette, and she says the thing that I hate when people say. Well, Matt's not perfect. It's not ideal for him to be in prison, but it's what it is. And I'm like, I mean, lots of things aren't ideal. Like having to pay tolls when you're driving on a road, you know, having to sit in traffic, you know, when you go to a drive-thru and they mess up your order. A lot of things in this world aren't ideal. However, someone who is a repeat offender in prison, that is more than just not ideal. Full disclosure, if you guys watched my last season of Love After Lockup, you know that I dated a convict, right? Like, I did that. I met him. At the time I met him, he was on the run. He had like stopped seeing his parole officer. Girl, I can tell you that I've never had better dates. I mean, now I have, but at the time, I had not had better dates. He made me feel super protective. We had such a good time. Always wanted to know what I was thinking and what I was doing, and I was just into it, girl. I was into it. I mean, obviously I saw some red flags. I didn't know he was on the run, but like I saw some red flags, and then all of a sudden he disappeared out of my life. Didn't know where the fuck he was, and then it turns out that he was in prison. But he was sweet because he got somebody to message me on Facebook to tell me where he was. And I wrote him for about 1.5 years, and then I was like, all right, my hand's hurting. I can't do this anymore. Good luck with everything you choose to do in your life. Hopefully when you come out the next time, you'll make better choices. But anyway, so that's my story, okay? Great. Now let's move on. So Caitlyn packs up her car and she drives. Turns out she's driving to Matt's mother's house because she's been having a great deal of conversation with Matt's mother, and she's been getting support from Matt's mother that she's never gotten from her own mother. So we get to Matt's mother's house, and she's pulled up and she's got all her luggage, and she's like, oh, struggle bus to the door. And she gets there and she opens the door, and her reaction to the mom is, we think she's having a stroke in the beginning, but then she's like, I'm already crying. And the mom's like, oh my God. And they hug each other. And then you see Matt's mom and you're like, Matt's mom is not a lunatic. She's like a well put together lady. Like what's the dealio? So they sit down and have a little bit of a kiki, and mom explains that Matt has had a really hard life. That when he was 10 years old, mom and dad got divorced, and it just threw poor Matt into a tizzy. I mean, he just was getting in trouble constantly after that, and then eventually he got addicted to meth. And he has been in and out of prison. This is his 3rd time coming out of prison, and every time he comes out, he relapses. And when he's been in prison, he hasn't had any treatment. And Caitlyn's like, I understand. And then we all start to see what's going on. We understand that the reason why Caitlyn's mom, or perhaps one of the reasons why Caitlyn's mom doesn't want Matt there, is because he's an addict and he's not in any kind of program to get clean. And I think that Caitlyn sort of feels like, you know, her mom was on drugs and she had a lot of chaos around her, and so possibly if she could help and save Matt, then she's kind of rectifying her own childhood situations. That is me. I don't have a degree in any kind of psychology, but that's what it seems like to me, you know? And then I immediately feel for her, but then also know she's about to make a slew of really bad choices. And if Matt is 28 years old, and let's say that he started doing meth when he was like, what, 18? That means that he's been a drug addict for 10 years, and he never learned how to properly cope with the pain that he felt from his parents' divorce. And when you introduce drugs into your system at that young of an age and you don't know how to cope with stress, it's harder to pull away from that as you get older because your body gets used to the response. And even Matt's mom is telling Caitlyn that there's a situation, and Caitlyn's just so optimistic about it. She's like, he's never given me any reason to doubt him. So then they go in and get on the phone and they call him, and she's gonna surprise Matt with the fact that she's in a relationship with his mother because he has no idea, right? And she thinks it's gonna go over well, and it does not, girl. He is pissed when he finds out that she is at his mother's house, because in his mind, she's coming to pick him up from prison and they're gonna go live at either her mother's house or like a hotel or something. But no, they're gonna live at his mother's house, and he does not want that, because his mom is gonna put rules on him, and he probably is really angry at her. Matt is so pissed when he finds out that Caitlyn is with his mother that he hangs up on her and is like, no, I don't want to talk to you. You've like thrown me over the edge. And it's because he has a lot of anxiety. He feels like she lied to him, and he's just so not in control of his situation that getting thrown this curveball just freaked him out. You know, he's in prison. Like, he has no control over anything. And the one thing I think he thought he had control over was his girlfriend, and like feeling like she had his back, and like in his mind, she lied and betrayed him, even though it isn't like the worst lie or betrayal you could do. I mean, I'm with your mom, but like for him, it was terrible. So yeah, like that's the end of that segment, and I'm really excited for what's coming up for them. Really excited. All right, so the next couple that we're gonna talk about, Scott and Lizzie, carryovers from season 1. So we're having 2 carryover couples from season 1. We're having Scott and Lizzie. And we're having Angela and whatever that guy's name. I don't remember his name. Anthony? I don't know, girl. Another Angela. Another blonde Angela to steal my heart. Another blonde, smoking Angela to steal my heart. Oh, we're so blessed, you and I. We're so blessed. Okay, so Scott and Lizzie. Scott is 51 years old. Lizzie is 41 years old. They have been dating for 3 years. He's spent $90,000 on her. Most of that money went to drugs. He's in Wisconsin at this moment, opening up the season, and he's looking for a house. They're in this like really cute house, and it's spacious, it's big. It only costs $350, and if you live in California, a house that costs $350 is like really good deal, especially for that big. And I imagine that his house in Oxnard might be a little bit more than $350, so it looks like it's a pretty good deal, but for whatever reason, he tells the realtor that he's gonna have to shuffle some money around, like he can't afford it or whatever. While he's with the realtor girl, Lizzie calls him. They put that shit on speakerphone, and he starts to tell her all the exciting things about this house, and Lizzie's like, wait a minute, does it have a pool? And he's like, no, but it has a river in the back. And she's like, but it doesn't have a pool? And he's like, no. She's like, no, I need a house with a pool. Just the gall, you know what I'm saying? The unmitigated gall of this woman who's been in prison for 10 years, who has done everything, drugs, prostitution, theft, lies, all this shit. They're gonna have the audacity to tell him from a jail cell that she wants a house with a pool. This woman is delusional, and Scott is crazy. And he's also lost some teeth, and I don't know what's happening in Scott's life, but he needs to take care of himself because it's really disturbing. He had teeth last year. He lost some teeth this year. Where did they go? Also, what happens when they're on that private conversation is Lizzie then informs him that she is going to need a 4-bedroom home because now that she's a Christian, she doesn't want to have sex with him. She says, girl, yes, when I was drinking, when I was drugging, there for you, I would have had sex, but not this Lizzie. This Lizzie is saving herself for marriage, so we're gonna need a 4-bedroom house, 1 bedroom for my daughter, 1 bedroom for you, 1 bedroom for my clothes, and 1 bedroom for me. Cheers! So then he's just like, okay, hangs up the phone and says, well, that conversation was we've been having really good conversations lately. Oh, poor Scott. So now we have Scott with Lizzie's daughter, whose name escapes me right now, but she's 19 years old. She hasn't seen her mother in 10 years. I mean, maybe she has, but like. Now this little honey boo-boo has just got my heartstrings pulled, okay? She says that she really wants to help her mom recuperate and get better. She feels guilty. She feels like the reason why her mom started doing drugs and abusing things is because she wasn't ready to have a kid, and it kind of drove her to that. And it broke my heart because, girl, like, it is so not your fault. You did not make her have sex. You weren't even there for that part of it. So it hurts me. But anyway, so she's like, let me meet with Scott. Let me see what's going on with this dude. So she sits down with Scott and she asks Scott some really important questions. Like, how long have you been dating my mom? You know, like, what's the situation? And Scott basically says that he wants to take care of the mom. And daughter says that she doesn't think that's good. She thinks that Lizzie needs to come out and do it on her own and be an independent woman so that she stays clean and she stays off of drugs. She then finds out that Scott has given her $90,000 over the years, and that he is aware that majority of that money has gone towards drugs. And she's like flabbergasted. She's like, why would you do that? And Scott's like, I just couldn't bear to see her hurt or in pain, so I just gave her money so that she could buy drugs. And then because of that, he also felt guilt, so he had to get her a lawyer so that when she got caught with drugs, that she was able to get her sentence only, that she wasn't given 12 years, that she was only given an extra year in prison. And this makes the daughter very upset because she's like, you are enabling my mother. You're not good for her. You think you are, but you're not doing anything to help her. And Scott's like, look, I'm going to set your mother up with a car, with insurance, with a place to live. Like, if she doesn't have me, she has nothing. And I'm going to do that for her. But daughter's still like, no, she doesn't need you. She doesn't need you. You're just an enabler. And you're gonna have her using drugs again in no time. And you're gonna just support her shenanigans. And she needs somebody who's gonna put their fist down. And like, what did you think of her family? You didn't think about us when you were giving her money for drugs? Like, you don't care about the people in her lives beside her? Like, you're supporting this terrible behavior. And he's like, I didn't think of it. And like, you bring up a great point. Like, duh, Scott, duh. So I really like this daughter. I feel like she's got her head on straight, girl. I really like her. So I'm really excited for their whole segment. All right, so the last couple that we're going to talk about, and this is the best one of the episode. This is the one that threw us for a loop. Girl, we have Meghan and Michael. Long story short, Meghan is this 28-year-old woman who is dating this 26-year-old man who's in prison. He is in prison. I think he's been in and out of jail since he was 15 years old. In prison for this last bit because he broke parole. And the first thing that got him into prison was grand theft auto when he was 15. So he is one of these black men who got caught up in the system and could never get out. Meghan, I don't know, seemingly comes from a good home. Her dad loves her, apparently. You know, her dad was on the episode. He loves her. So I'm not sure why she's making these decisions. But apparently she met Michael through a friend. And Michael is the cousin of that friend. And I guess Michael just needed somebody to chit-chat with. Somebody to write him in prison. So Meghan stepped up and quickly found out that they were in love. I don't remember how long they've been talking. But I think it's about a year, maybe? 2 years? I think he's been in prison for 2 years. I'm not sure. And she really feels like she can trust him and that everything's gonna work out. And she, like Caitlyn, just want people to leave them alone so they're able to make their own decisions. She just wants to be able to mess up on her own. And I can get that, but this is a really bad way of messing up. But I mean, as long as he's not gonna ruin her life, girl, like then I don't see anything wrong with a grown woman wasting her time with a convict. You know, convicts are people too. They need love. Her father's trying to talk her out of it, but she just gets really annoyed with him. And turns out she's a virgin girl. And she wants to lose her virginity to Michael. So later on, she goes with her friend and they go to like some lingerie shop. She goes with her best Judy, or one of her best Judys, two of her best Judys, or some just Judys in general. I don't know if they're best Judys. And they go into a lingerie shop where she tells them that she's still a virgin. Oh my God, the best part. Girl. She's trying to learn how to have sex and get her sexy moves on by taking an online course with this woman named Tantanaya or some girl. And the woman shows you how to like ride a man by using a chair. I mean, it was the best part of this episode and they didn't even focus on it a lot. Girl, she was like, all you have to do is like, where is she online? I need to find this woman. How much is it to watch it? Oh my gosh, she's like learning how to have sex with this online woman who's teaching her how to ride a man and how to be a good sexual partner. And it is amazing. Anyways, at the lingerie shop with her friends, tells her friend she's still a virgin. And they're just like, girl, you just want to give it to him? Like, why him? And she's like, because I trust him. There's no secrets between us. And then we find out that he has a kid and a baby mama. And they ask her, what do you feel about this baby mama? She's like, oh, I don't have any worry about the baby mama. Like, Michael loves me. Like, they're not together anymore. And they have a 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old's really cute. And like, you know, she's interested in being a stepmom, not worried about baby moms at all. Girl, plot twist. Cut to, and I don't know if this is fraudulent. I don't know what is going on. But Michael and his baby mama are still together, girl. Meghan has no idea. Meghan's even planning on moving to wherever it is that he's gonna be for parole so that she could be with Michael. And he's still a baby mama. This is gonna be such a good show. All right, you guys, I'm running out of time and I'm gonna do a better job next episode. All right, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in with this recap. Let me know what you thought down below. Let's have a kiki and a conversation about this show. We are going to have so much fun this season. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching me. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. Otherwise, be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.